if Eli is in fact innocent of this, and he gives me no reason, or I don't have any reason to think that he is guilty of it, but if he is innocent of it, he's a victim of just the cynical society that we now live in, because so many athletes have lied, or so many times we've said X would never, or Y would never stoop to such levels, only to find out that they weren't who we thought they were. So I am not suggesting in any way that he is guilty, but I'm saying we know better than to say, oh, of course, 100% we're sure he did nothing wrong. But that was as emphatic a denial as one could give under the circumstances. The second thing that jumped out to me, though, and obviously these are not the same sets of circumstances, but it's just interesting how every star gets his or her turn in the meat grinder at one point or another. Because you had Peyton go through it his last year. Now, granted, again, for completely different reasons and completely different alleged actions, but he went through it. And now to see his brother, the first family of football, if you will, his brother also have to give that emotional, emphatic denial in front of the cameras for something that he's accused of doing. It's just interesting how everybody has their turn.
Well, it's also interesting.
Maybe that says more about us. I don't know.
It does. I mean, you're right. We're cynical, and there's a lot of people, athletes and otherwise, who have given us reason to doubt them. And what's also interesting is how the angry denial, in a lot of ways, you can't even trust that anymore. Because it used to be when people would stay quiet if they were accused of something, people would say, well, if that were me, I'd come out and I'd say, I didn't do it. I could never do something like this, and blah, blah, blah. But then people started to do that, and then it turned out they were lying. So even the angry denial, it still doesn't exactly put Eli Manning in a position where we all of a sudden give him the benefit of the doubt. But here's why I am.
I do.
Well, I was going to say,
I'm not going to speak in absolute and then come back and
I'm not going to do that either. And so I think he has earned, given the track record of not just his career and how he's played, but just the person of who he is, or shall I say, who he's presented himself to be. What we know of him, that I think he's earned the benefit of the doubt. And I don't think that makes either of us stupid for doing that. I mean, yes, I am certainly in that group of people that doesn't put anything past anybody. But I think there are some people that you say, okay, with all that what I've seen and they've shown, I think it's okay to say, okay, I'm going to give him at least a little bit of the benefit of the doubt and not assume he's guilty.
You don't have to be naive, which we're not, but you certainly don't have to go to the other extreme and be overly cynical and just think everybody's lying. Yeah,
and plus the nature of this case, it just seems it's just so much like why? Why would Eli Manning want to get mixed up in something like this?